Hi, this is Mike Ingham. I'm here today to talk about the wind spotter. The wind spotter on our boat is the one that looks for wind on the water, looks for pressure on the water, and really light air. And the reason for that is that that's when it makes the biggest difference. We just got done racing Kiel Race Week in Kiel, Germany, and there's about 2,000 boats in this regatta. It's quite a spectacle, and this year we were plagued a little bit by a couple of races of very, very light air. And the most important thing to do is find the pressure and get to it. The reason it's the most important thing in that condition is that you can go so much faster, you get a little extra breeze. So suppose you're only going 1 or 2 knots and then you just get a little puff. You might double your speed to 3 or 4, but once you hit your hull speed, maybe your hull speed 6 knots or 5 knots, and it's blown maybe 10 knots or something, a little increase in pressure, sure, it's useful, but it's not going to double your speed. So we are concerned most with it, we're obsessed with it in really light air. So the way they do it is our wind spotter takes a look and they try to find texture on the water, and they try not to be fooled by something that really isn't texture or is caused by something else. For example, it could be caused by a current line or something, and that's good information too, but you can't recognize that as pressure on the water. But also, one of the hardest things to do is tell if it's windier when the sun's reflecting off the water on one side and not the other. But either way, they're looking out at the edges of the course mostly to find out where the next big trend in wind is coming from. So for example, suppose it's they're looking up wind and they see pressure on the right. They might say, all right, I see pressure on the right, and then they describe what's something about it, and those characteristics are things like, all right, is this wind, the further into you get, the more and more it builds? Or is it just kind of a local pressure once you get to the right and there's nothing beyond it? The other important piece of information is it moving? Is it moving down the course? Is it stationary? And all that starts a discussion of what we do about it. So then what I really like is a discussion between the tactician and the wind spotter on how you get there the fastest. So for example, if in our example where the wind's on the right, they might say, okay, the wind's on the right, we really need to get on port to get to it. Once we get to it, we need to sail deeply into it because there's more and more breeze as the further you get into it. And so that's what we do. And then, but maybe they say, hey, even though it's coming from the right, it's moving very quickly down the course, and it's kind of moving, we're on starboard already, and it's sort of moving from the right, but it's also going in front of us, and the quickest way to it is just keep sailing on starboard. So there's a lot of things that happen from this information, and it changes. It's so they have to keep looking because maybe another wind forms after it, or maybe all of a sudden the wind starts to fill on the left. But either way, it's of paramount importance in the light air, and that's what we focus on. So we really trust and count on our wind spotter to find the next wind for us, and then we go for it.